All right, good day, everyone. Thank you so much for watching our live earlier this week where I talked a little bit about my own recovery and the story. But in general, just so happy you all are here. And, because of, is Diet Indoctrination Month, right? Trying to pick off all the people that, might be, vulnerable to feeling like they don't belong, or that they can only improve their health with, more dieting versus actually just tending to the body you have. We're just here as, not for you to drink our Kool-Aid either, but just to be able to know you have an option, you have a choice. And it's important that you listen and learn and gather the information you need to make informed choices about how to long-term physically, mentally, and emotionally, tend to all the needs of your life versus the short-term psychological, really, fixes of dieting. And so we're going to talk in this video today. Actually, I'm going to have a guest on with me as soon as she can hop on. And we're gonna do that. So let's see here. Yeah. Whenever Karis works for me. She was actually my co-facilitator in this past fall, 2023, our intuitive eating workbook group. She co-facilitated and, was a part of some of the cool things that were happening. And as soon as she can hop on, we're going to talk a little bit about the power of relationship to being able to, because dieting, emotional eating is so much about relational too much or absences, that we try to fill it or suppress. We should either fill up what we're not getting and we're trying to get it through food, or we're suppressing our needs because our needs feel like they make us be in threat, they make us feel vulnerable. If we have needs, that means that they might not get met, so we don't want you to be disappointed. And so we look to things that provide some containment for all that, whether it's, again, dieting, restricting, whatever. So so that's the gist of it. And let's see here what else I can offer to you before we kind of get started. Let's see here. Yeah, trying to think of anything else. So I'm just going to get started, and if she can hop on, great. If not, we'll try this again, but I'll leave this video up. So last year when we did the intuitive eating workbook group, what our goal was, and by the way, those of you who are new to this channel, just real quick, my name is Tracy Brown. And my team and I, so there's me plus 4 other really amazing, honestly, well-respected, they all have different skill sets, but we're all still devoted to helping you be embodied and being your own food and nutrition expert. And so we kind of do these little, once a year, maybe twice a year, these little groups, these little sometimes they're total process groups, sometimes they're process and study groups, maybe based on some resources that are out there, or sometimes we make our whole other, program. And I don't do programs, but things to study and then the process, basically, knowing that that's something in your journey. So anyway, we did this group, and it was one of my favorite groups, I would say, basically relational study process group we've ever done, because we did add the nervous system health regulation component to it. So at the beginning of every session, we started off with noticing what was in the environment, noticing how our bodies were responding to the cues in the environment, and how that impacts hunger and fullness. So we did some kind of fun little experiential before we got into the content. And the comments we got from it, not just that experience, but what was so amazing is when I asked for feedback. And again, I'm not asking, people want to typically stay anonymous. That's why I don't always have a ton of testimonial videos and stuff, even though I have a lot of that on the website that people, I don't care if people know who I am. They want to do it. Let's see here. So, what were the comments? So I asked some people, I want your feedback, good, bad, and indifferent. And even if it's negative, even if it was negative, I wanted to hear it because I want to improve the quality of the experience for people. People are investing their time, their money, their soul to be with us and to trust us. So I'm going to start with the negative first, though I'm just really transparent. People often, when we do these things, we read these books, we do these things, they often feel like, okay, if I just get it all in me quickly, then I'll get better quickly. And that's just part of our cultural programming of, push fast. But our bodies don't work that way. We change at the level, basically, of our nervous system. And our nervous system, honestly, y'all, is biological material, right? Meaning that it's nervous cell, strands and tissue and cells. And so when we learn new things, we have to water those new things every single day. So we can't just listen to one podcast, do one worksheet and feel like, okay, I feel it in my bones and I can just do it. That's not how it works. We kind of learn and then we have to experience it, learn, experience, and those things go together. We learn, experience. And so with the group, the request was that if we do it again, that they would have preferred that we do every other week sessions. That way people have more time to integrate. I do that with a lot of my work, but a lot of people don't know to ask for that, and I just didn't do it this past time. So what we're going to do in this go is we're definitely going to make sure that people have more time. So we're going to do it every other week, and that gives more time for integration. That makes more time for if you honestly, if you need to be out of town for that period of time, that 10-week period of the workbook, that we spread it out so you have time to kind of plan some other activities and you don't have to miss so many live sessions. And that was the only negative feedback we got, is that they'd like to have it more spread out for more time to really take the time they needed, an hour or 2 hours a week, to really thoroughly go through the material. So I'm trying to get Karis here online, but it's just not working. Not sure why she's not able to pop in and hop on, because the viewers are allowed to request to join. That's not working. So I actually will have Karis do her own video later, no problem, to talk about, honestly, her experiences and what she saw, how she saw people grow, and what we can offer people with this. So that was the only negative, is that people wanted to have more time, and to have more time to kind of work around with their schedules, not having to miss, and they can work around things if people got sick or whatever. So that's what we're doing. So there is, it's a 10-week series, and then which will actually be stretched out to 20 weeks, so you can kind of plan. So the first one is supposed to be January 22nd, and then you can plan accordingly. That's a Monday. It'll be in the evening at 6 p.m. Eastern. That seemed to work for most people. The good news, and you know what? It was so interesting. I wrote down all the comments, and I have them here in front of me. And the comments were, what did you appreciate? What was nourishing for you? And the comments were a sense of belonging, a sense of feeling seen and known and heard, because everybody gets time. We make these groups to where they're small, and if we find that there's a certain edge to where there's not enough time, and for every group's different. Some people that's 6, some people it's 8 or 10, and so if we start to get the feel and the sense of people really want to be vulnerable and share. They're just not I don't know, I don't have anything. Maybe they're just kind of there to learn by osmosis. But most of the time when people come and they start to trust each other, they want to share and they want to process their stuff. And in the last group, we had the intimacy of a smaller group. Everybody had a lot of time. These are 60 to 75 minute sessions, and if the pre-work has already been done, you have, you're going over chapter 1 and filling out the questions. What we do then is I go over, and Karis, she's going to be running the group, is to go over, here are the main points of growth from this chapter. You did the exercise. What did you experience? What was hard? What surprised you with your capacity? And work through that and get some more insight. Which kind of leads me to another thing that on the list is people felt like they were really getting and understanding the function of some of their eating thoughts and behaviors, which helps them become a compassionate witness. And then when you're a compassionate witness, you can unglue from the thoughts, unglue from the feelings, unglue from the sensations, and observe it. and to see if it's congruent with your now time capacity and support and capability. And now you have a choice. So we kind of took it a step further than just like, we'll just do the journal prompts. It's like, no, we want to understand the responses so that you can take that and use that every single day. But like, it's like basically, okay, you go through the workbook, but we're really processing what's happening in your experience with it. And people really enjoy that because it wasn't simply, oh yeah, okay, that's related to that memory and how I was treated with my food when I was 12. It's like, no. There's more to it, is that can you help that part that's feeling stuck and alone and not heard? So that's the work we were doing. It was really great. And of course, like adding on to, basically kind of taking another step of like, what do we do next with this? That was exciting. So there's belonging, a sense of being known and seen and heard. Again, compassionate witnessing, things making more sense. Understanding that some of the little things that they didn't think were a thing, like those are actually defensive strategies. The things we do with food, the things we do with how we talk about our body and weight and food rules and what other people think. All that stuff got put into context. Is very helpful. And, the obvious stuff, right? People had a deeper sense of like their hunger and fullness, all those kind of things. So I have a bigger list, but I wasn't going to go through the whole list, but I'll type it down in the comments below so you can see exactly what people said about the group. So if you're interested, again, we start January 22nd, small group, payment plans are available. It's just one of those circumstances that we heal in relationships. So again, there's one thing to learn. Part of growth is learning. We get new information. We learn new skill. We learn about what skills are available. But the reality is that all food and eating problems, or concerns, I'll call them, happen in relationship. So if we want to have new reparative experiences of food not being the threat, of our body weight not being the threat, we're going to have new reparative experiences in relationship. Because that's what we're so worried about. This is why we don't make progress sometimes, is because we start to do the right thing and then we get in this vortex where it's like, well, part of me wants to move forward, but the emotions that are coming up say no. The voices that are coming up say, no, it's not safe to make these changes. And we get stuck because what you're doing with food, how you think, even if you think that your way is better, that's still a defensive strategy. Like these intuitive eating people don't know what they're talking about. It's like, well, what I know is that pretty much everybody's food stuff, if it's not coming from a place of trust, it's coming from usually some fear. And fear long-term is not a great motivator for health, because guess what? If you're living in fear around weight gain or the food choices you're making, you're actually kind of shooting yourself in the foot, because you're causing stress responses every day, every meal. If you're judging yourself with your food, if you're shaming yourself, if you're afraid people are going to judge you, you're in a threat response. So great, you might lose weight. If you're trying to eat more food, but every meal feels like it's a threat and you're like, we can't maintain it without relapsing, it's because the food feels like a threat. We think it's about weight gain, but it's deeper than that. So much deeper than that. So if you're looking to like actually understand the function and make intuitive eating work, versus like it doesn't work because I start to eat and then I get out of control, or I just give up, or I get overwhelmed, or I get scared. It's because there's a part of us that feels like this eating thing is a threat, and the only thing that's ever contained all that fear is either dieting or binging. So we're trying to put the relationship piece in here to where it feels less bad, it feels less scary to get our needs met. All right, so that's what this group is about. If you're interested, again, I'll put the link in all the comments below. Yeah. So if you're interested, again, please reach out. If you're like, I don't know if this is right for me, I'll put the link to talk to me about it. I'm so welcome. It's not that I don't sell people anything. What I provide is like, here's options. Here's what you're struggling with. Here's what you tried to do, and it works on this level, but then it triggers this other thing. And what I have found, this is typically what's missing for people. All right. So I'll have Karis come on or do a video with her end of things, her experience as she, was a part of that group too, and what she's excited about with meeting anybody new that wants to come in. And I think that's it for today. I hardly ever do these kind of videos, but honestly, the experience this fall was so wonderful. I feel like I'm kind of hoarding the joy and the recovery if I don't share it. And, this is typically work that we're introducing in individual sessions, but we wanted to provide these groups so people also get that, other people who are in it, we can, that relational piece to it, that the other people get it and relate. And most of the time, some of the things that were the most healing, I'll just add this last piece, is that when we share our stories, we see parts of ourselves in it too. It makes us feel less alone. It makes us stop gaslighting ourselves that we had to adapt. And the shame melts. It goes away because it's like, oh, this is like a normal experience, that kind of adversity and stress, when there's not enough support on board. It's just what happens. So, all right. Well, I think that's it for now. We're going to get the rest of this wrapped up today or tomorrow, and we'll start with some new content next week. And if you need something, please reach out, let us know. If you just enjoy this video just by learning kind of the concepts, that's great too. If you know somebody who's like, oh, they love groups, or oh, they love studies, or oh, they just love connecting with people and deep diving, share that video with them too. So that's it for now. I will see you all in next week's videos. Bye for now.